girl on fire. I'm not a victim, a girl on fire. I stand my ground, girl on fire. I've made a choice, I'll stand proud.
Hi, I'm Marina and welcome to Gun Talk. Today we are chatting to Lynette Oxley from Gosa Girls on Fire. Lynette, welcome.
Hi, welcome. Thanks very much for having me.
Lynette, Gosa Girls on Fire, how do they fit into the firearm industry? Can you give us a brief description of Girls on Fire?
Okay, maybe I can look at the history first. We started the campaign in 2015. When Gosa was in Parliament, one of the journalists said it's only old white men that's in the firearm industry, and she will never get involved in it because that's not what she wants to get involved in. And that night, we created Gosa Girls on Fire. Because it's not only old white men that shoot. There's a lot of women of all walks and life and all colors, all nationalities, etc., that does shoot, and that's where it basically started. Our first campaign coincided with 16 days, the United Nations 16 days of activism against women and child abuse, and we changed it to 16 days of action against women and child abuse. We said we don't need to be victims and stand back and let other talk about it. We actually quite capable of by being able to defend ourselves, our families, so kids, husbands, etc., and ourselves, obviously.
So, Girls on Fire is focusing on women and empowering women to be a victim no longer in a supposedly very male dominant industry.
Absolutely. We're basically saying every woman, you don't have to, young, old, fit, unfit, young, even youngsters from about 12 years old get involved in our programs, to old ladies of 80. We're saying every woman can defend themselves. And the only really good, effective way of defending yourself against the bigger perpetrator is to actually be efficient with the firearm. We don't just say, take out the gun and shoot a person or whatever. Our first thing is to look at the circumstances. When is it legal to actually defend yourself? In what circumstances can you defend yourself? We look at concealed carry. We look at where and when you are in a situation, to try and avoid situations where you are there's going to be more chance of you actually getting attacked. For example, if you sit in the car at a robot, don't look like a victim that people think that you're an easy prey for them. Be aware of your circumstances. But in the last resort, if you need to defend yourself, that you are able to defend yourself in an effective, lawful manner. So we've got programs all over South Africa. We have introduction to handguns, where we look at the basics of owning a firearm, the legalities, as I said, how you do concealment specifically for women. We actually look at a variety of topics, and then we do look at handling different firearms. And then once a year, we have a ladies' top shot competition here in Johannesburg, where we shoot a variety of guns. It's usually booked up within a week, and that's for both professional people that's in the industry, and also do competition shooting to ladies that's never touched a gun. And in that competition, we have people shooting clay pigeon shooting. We shoot the 50 cal, etc., and it changes people's lives, I think.
Lynette, being a female, it's always daunting to pick up a firearm. I think psychologically for us as nurturers, it's not always that easy. Can you talk a bit more, because there's a hell of a support structure for Girls on Fire to make it female friendly, to ask questions in a very safe environment and assisting them. Can you tell us about those structures?
Yes, I think all of us that's been in the industry, and you've been helping a lot with Girls on Fire in the past. It's a big thing is when you actually walk into a gun shop, the guy behind the counter, the first thing that he wants to sell you is a small 38 special revolver. And all of the ladies that's involved in this campaign gets really mad about that. And they talk down to you. So we want to promote that you can ask the questions, and if people don't treat you well when you do go and buy a firearm, then go take your money somewhere else. We do feel that women, it's not that scary. And I found this, if people are scared in the beginning, and I've seen people really shivering and can hardly actually touch the gun. And after we have one of these introductory courses, and the first time they hit a pepper popper, I had one lady that burst out in tears because it was an achievement for her. It made all of the instructors burst out in tears because it looks like this is big thing, but a pistol or a rifle or whatever you are shooting is merely an instrument. If you can handle it safely, there's no reason for you to be scared of this. And that is the big campaign that we try to introduce ladies, especially with the top shot. Shooting 45s, shooting clay pigeon shooting, shooting the 50 cal. It's some of that's very big guns, and we make it that ladies that's scared is afterwards they're not scared, and they actually start getting interested in seeing that guns can also be fun, never mind just the self-protection part of it.
Lynette, can you walk us through one of those basic introduction, basically what it entitles, because it's quite an interesting experience. It's a group of ladies, but I would like to hear you explain an example of a basic introductory to firearms and how we go about it.
Okay, so we actually do this all over the country, and we're going to expand it. So let me just start there. We've had quite a couple here in Johannesburg. We've had some in Pretoria. We've had some in Cape Town, and we had Port Elizabeth, and we also had one in Durban. We get a group of lady instructors together, or ladies that sport shooters that know guns quite well. We get novices coming in. We start by talking about just why do you own a firearm? Then what's the reasons behind owning a firearm? And then we look at obviously the legal aspects of it. We then go through concealed carry. What is the different methods of carrying a firearm? Because if you decide to carry a firearm for a self-defense, it's got to be carried in an effective manner and every day of your life. You can't decide one day I'm going to leave the gun at home, and then you're in a situation that you do need to use the firearm. Then we go on to looking at things like grip of the firearm, how you grip the firearm, sight alignment, and just stance, all of those basics of handling a handgun, which is much more difficult than, for example, handling a rifle. Then we have a practical practical afterwards, where we have 3 different guns that we shoot. Something small, because people always think that a small gun is easier to shoot, and it's actually more difficult. So we usually shoot a Glock 43 for a small gun. We then have a Glock 17 usually, or a Glock 34 for a larger gun. And then we also shoot the Glock 19. And we do some very simple exercises where we look at the basics of shooting. So it's a very much introductory course in shooting. We then put people in touch with people in their area that can assist them. So we trying to put a support network all over South Africa for ladies. There's somebody that they can always speak to in their area to hear where can they get guns, where can they go and train. It's just putting them in touch with like-minded ladies.
I think that is something that I really enjoy about Girls on Fire, is the immense support and the wealth of knowledge that gets put back, there's definitely a feel of you comfortable from your first introductory to firearms straight through to you end up owning it. Girls on Fire really takes you through that whole process and won't leave you hanging. They actually actively support you step by step.
Absolutely.
The net top shot.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that? That is definitely a highlight. Been there. Just briefly explain to us again what Top Shot offers the females in South Africa at that event. I know the males does come along, but it's women shooters once again being introduced to a vast amount. Can you go through that process
Yes.
again?
Yes, it's what is so interesting is, when you look at sport shooting and stuff like that, there's not that many lady range officers. At the Top Shot event, we had 9 different stages, and we had at least 2 female range officers per stage. That was 18 range officers, and then we still had roaming range officers to relieve these people. So in total, we had about 24 qualified ladies. So it's shooting for ladies, by ladies, instructed by ladies. It's a very empowering program or event. We usually start by all of it's usually sponsored. We have wonderful sponsors. This year we got close to R500,000 worth of sponsorship. So the ladies pay something like 350 or 250 rands, I think. And that includes all of the ammunition, all of they get a goodie bag with all kinds of, they go get their own hearing protection, some eye protection, and all kinds of other little things, as well as we usually have a gala event afterwards. That we have to limit it to about 120 people, so it fills up within usually a couple of days. So we start shooting .22s at one range. We do a steel challenge stage. We do a 3-gun nation stage where you will shoot, for example, an AK with a handgun and then transitioning to shotgun. We have a shotgun stage where you basically do, you've got rabbits and not real rabbits, it's clays that you basically run on the ground. Yeah, let's just state that. And then there's some pigeons, which basically is also, which is slight flyers, which the ladies then have to shoot. At that stage, we've got a young lady. She's about 19 years old, and she's a current Springbok shooter in that regards. We then do an IPSC stage, which is quite, you can get Springbok colors in IPSC for shooting pistol. They also have shotgun and other stages, but we usually do a pistol stage. We also then had a stage where ladies could shoot a 45. We do combat rifle as well. And I'm just trying to think about, and then obviously we do the big guns from Trevella. They're usually Trevella sponsors. Each lady 2 shots with the 50 cal, which is absolutely fantastic. It is the highlight for the ladies on the day. And then also the 308 sniper rifle. We do it in the form of a competition. To make it fair, we usually during registration ask people certain questions, and they basically get split into 3 classes, which is total amateurs, people that haven't shot at all or very little, semi-professional, semi-amateurs, which is own guns, have gone through the competency process, etc., and then professionals. So if you're an instructor or you do sport shooting, you get put into that class. You then we have a competition and people win prizes and stuff like that. And we have a big gala event afterwards where we have lucky draws and people get, the ladies get medals and trophies.
So once again, an awesome event set together by women for women. giving you the opportunity as a novice straight through to professional to experience the variety that is firearms and the different disciplines that exist. Lynette, once again, thank you. I can't thank you enough. That is a stunning event, having been there myself.
It's a highlight. I still get ladies that get me in the some of the shops and saying to me, "When is the next event?" and stuff like that. And can we Cape Town and can we take it here? And unfortunately, not. You're going to get donor fatigue and stuff like that. We can do it one event per year, and it's got to be do it well. And we usually get ladies from Cape Town. We had quite a couple of ladies from Cape Town. We had some people flying up from Port Elizabeth. We had actually ladies coming from all over the country.
The Net Girls on Fire has been started and it's going strong. Do you see a growth? How do we get into contact with Girls on Fire?
Well, you can contact us through the Gosa Facebook page. We also have a Gosa Girls on Fire Facebook page, so please join us on that. My telephone number, which is also, it's the same offices as Gosa, they can phone and contact me. There's always somebody, especially on the Gosa Girls on Fire Facebook page, there's always somebody there that will, if you have a question, and no question is a stupid question, will get answered by a variety of ladies from all over the country that will assist you.
And you definitely encourage, like I mentioned, pockets of support. So you are definitely well presented with the whole of South Africa. So you won't.
Yeah, and every time we actually go to areas, I try and we take some of the ladies from instructors from, for example, Johannesburg over to places like Durban or places like Port Elizabeth. I have a lady that's been on a ladies course, a lady stop shot. I can't remember, but she wasn't involved and she started helping, and she is now one of our top lady trainers, and she's been involved with that. You obviously are a Cape Town person with Joan. We have people now that helps in Durban. And as we expand, I try and identify ladies, and we try and actually encourage them to then do the courses on their own and have programs on their own. We try and expand the program as far as possible and get the ladies to what's the right word is to actually be competent to actually take over from us, from that we don't just do it centrally.
It's for me, it's like setting up a support structure that is there for that area to maintain momentum. Very much focusing on empowering in every field of firearms, not just the introductory and getting over that initial fear, but to then take them and support them through the whole process, because it's quite a lengthy process, isn't it?
It's a very lengthy process. You have to do your proficiency training for competence, and that can take up to 90 days if you're lucky, but that is the legal requirement. Then if you buy a firearm, it might be another 90 days if you are lucky and there's no problems with it. So it can be a very lengthy program, but usually a lady starts with having a handgun and usually ends up with more guns than their husbands. So there's never enough. You start with a handgun, then you maybe get a shotgun and you get a self-loading rifle. And a lot of our ladies are in the hunting fraternity. I don't hunt myself, but we've got lots of ladies that's active hunters as well, from all over the country.
Getting into firearms is usually quite a difficult one. There's a massive stigma attached to firearms. How does Girls on Fire go about breaking that stigma?
So I recently wrote a very long, lengthy paper on victimology, and a lot of women got very cross with me because I said the new thing in the world is to be a victim. The victim is the in thing to be, Just when you're attacked, go and sit in the corner and give to the people whatever they ask for. And I keep saying to especially in the ladies' courses, I say to them, do you know what is in the mind of the person that's attacking you? Is he going to steal your cell phone? Is he going to steal your car? Is he going to kill you? If you're at home, is he going to rape you? Do you know what is in that person's mind? So you have to make decisions beforehand that you will defend yourself, in what circumstances you will defend yourself, and not to be a victim. And then if you do put up a fight, you fight, and you have to decide that you're going to have the fight and take the necessary precautions to save yourself, or your children or friends or husband or whatever. For example, if you're in a situation that you're with a husband or a partner or whatever, and that person, when you get attacked, and my husband is quite a bit bigger than me, they're going to concentrate on him, and he always calls me his first responder, because in the end, mostly the women will have to actually sort out the situation, because people don't expect you to fight back. They think you are going to be a victim, and they're going to just do with you whatever they want. So I want to say to the ladies, get yourself actually prepared, know your firearms, go and practice. We're not saying just buy a firearm and not go and practice. You need to know how to clear stoppages, etc., etc. But be proficient and go through scenarios in your head, and don't be a victim.
South Africa, I think at this moment is rife, and we all know the extent of the crime in South Africa, and that it usually isn't just a question of you walking away scot-free with some stuff being stolen. That usually it does go to an aggravated level, and we have to therefore, unfortunately, up it from our side to make sure that we can match that force. Although we're not trying to promote, using violence, we're trying to say protect yourself.
Absolutely. If you actually, when I train, if I look at myself, the first thing is I'm not going to try and be in a situation where I can be attacked. So decide where you can and can't be, where your chances are better to actually defend yourself or not actually getting into a situation. When you are in the car, be aware of your circumstances. When you go into your gate, be aware of your circumstances. So try and avoid at all costs that you don't get attacked. At home, I usually take my firearm around with me. I do not have children, but there is ways to get around that. But I have my firearm with me, so that in case I do get attacked, that I can defend myself. But yeah, we're not saying just go out and shoot willy-nilly. When you carry a firearm, and that's what the discussions we've had at a lot of our courses, and also ladies that's carried, it actually makes you a much calmer person, because you know that if something happens, it's dire consequences. It's a simple thing, and it will just go away. If you actually have to defend yourself, it's not an easy thing to do. So most of the ladies say to me, it's actually got the opposite effect on them. They are much calmer since they've been carrying a firearm, and they try and avoid conflict or a situation where they might have to defend themselves. So it actually calms you down as a person.
I think that's one of the misperceptions about responsible gun ownership in South Africa, is that we are very aggressive in nature, where in fact the responsibility and the understanding of the potential impact of that firearm definitely weighs heavy on our heart. And like you say, it makes us more cautious about our surroundings and making that final decision.
Absolutely agree.
Lynette, thank you so much for having a chat with us, and thank you so much for what you do for Gosa Girls on Fire. I think There's definitely a shortage of people willing to empower women to not be a victim no longer. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Miranda, and thanks for your help in the Cape. And I can't do it without a massive support system from some awesome women all over South Africa. So I would like to thank them as well. And yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.